Hello and welcome to the Cosmic Heart Podcast on Cosmic Heart TV. Today I have a very special guest. Her name is Nilzara. She is a light language channeler and healer, recognized for her practical teaching style and broad expertise. She guides others in activating their light language. She supports individuals who are transitioning from Christianity into a more spiritual-based approach and helps clients shift from people-pleasing behavior and mindsets to living authentically. Her transformational teachings attract those who value a direct approach and are committed to their own healing. Nilzara is respected for her leadership in guiding individuals towards personal restoration. Nilzara leverages her background in coaching, Reiki, authorship, and behavioral science, but considers her dedication to healing her greatest strength. She believes that she can only support others in their healing to the extent that she herself has healed. So today I want to introduce Nilzara for her light language, expertise and experience and wisdom shared. Welcome, Nilzara. What would you say led you to where you're at now with how you started speaking light language, and what really were some important factors in your path that really led you to even knowing that you could do this, let alone the power that it holds? And how would you say that speaking light language has affected your life personally? How have you seen you speaking light language affect others? Because some people receive it and some people understand it and some people kind of find it like, okay, I don't know what's going on. So
Yeah, for sure.
I kind of want to get your take on that too, but I really genuinely truly want to know like what your journey is, because I know mine was like kind of wild on how I started speaking light language.
Yeah, so I would say, okay, so I started speaking in tongues when I was like 10. So I went to something called Missionettes. It's like Girl Scouts, but Christian style. And it was an all girls camp. And that was when like being a Christian was really cool and
Yeah,
things were just like everyone was Christian.
right.
and very like Holy Spirit filled. And I just remember as a little girl, I was one of the youngest in the group, but we were in this room and they were like, hey, we're all going to speak in tongues. And I mean, it was just wild because it was like, I would say maybe 50 girls, young girls in this room, and we're all just speaking in tongues. And I didn't know what was going on. I just know I sounded like, I could remember thinking I sounded like a goat. Like, man, like just making these weird noises that I felt that I didn't have control of. Like it was my mouth moving, but all I was being told is that this is a sign of the Holy Spirit. This is me being connected. And I was like nervous and excited,
Right.
also comfortable because there's other people doing it. But then there's also the other like logical side of me that's like, what the hell is happening? You know? So it was very just kind of like a part of the normal Christian walk back in the day to have experienced those things.
Right.
But to say that I truly understood it during that time, I can't say like, yes, it's something that grew on me and all of that. Um, my life has been very wild. So I grew up in I don't want to say a typical Hispanic household because I think Hispanics are known for working, and my dad didn't work. He was like an alcoholic and just was wild, you know, just kind of did his own thing, can never keep a job, always like crashing our cars, like just
You're
really crazy stuff. So when my parents moved, they divorced and my dad moved, I moved with him and he introduced me to like drugs and alcohol when I was 14. So I was
okay.
a total daddy's girl when my parents were married. So my dad was wild, but he wasn't as wild until he got single. And so
Right.
I was always in and out of the church, in and out of the church. And it wasn't until I turned 21 that I was really like in the church because with my upbringing, I mean, my dad really set me up for some really big douchebags in my life, like really created his presence, really created my perception of love and how I connected with men and how I took care of men and how, like, every guy that I have been with, married to, because I've been married multiple times, all had mother wounds and they all had addict mothers.
Yeah.
I always came in because I was the caretaker. I took care of my dad.
Yeah.
I became his mom. I was a grown ass, a mom to a grown ass man by the age of like 14, taking care of this old man as my son, who's my dad. And so I took on that role. That role was how I
You
loved people, how I connected. It created my attachment style. And don't get
you
me wrong, there
created
was a lot of stuff
cycles.
that happened before that, but this was for me was very like monumental in the way I connected with people. And so I was just really comfortable with connecting with men who were disconnected with themselves, that
Right.
wanted to take on the role of being taken care of. And so that really led into even my adult life, even as a Christian. It got worse as I was a Christian. But I became a Christian, like super devout Christian, when I was 21.
Yeah.
And that's when like the speaking in tongues, really tapping into my healing gifts and those types of things happened when I was in my 20s.
Okay.
But it was more so of like, okay, you could speak in tongues. So you're like highly gifted. We use it as a form of worship. We use it to help heal. But
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of like the gist of it. And so in my Christian lifetime, I got married twice. I waited to have sex until I was married to both of them. Did the right things. I was involved in the church. I was being trained for leadership. I was in leadership, depending on what time frame and what church. I was in, what is it called? A crisis pregnancy center for like 5 years, teaching on purity and all
Oh,
the crazy things. I mean, I was very devout Christian, but I was starting to notice that the trauma was continuing.
yeah.
It didn't matter how much I prayed, how much I was at the altar asking for forgiveness. It didn't matter how many times I read my Bible or that I fasted or did the right thing. I was still perpetuating that same cycle of abuse in my life. I was
Yeah.
still attracting men, even men that were, I mean, both of my husbands were at one point leadership in the church, working in the church. They were both men in uniform. They were both like these men of, I don't know, is caliber the right word? Like these, people looked up to them. They thought they were great and all of these things. And they ended up both being like really great. My first one for really psychopath. But I was just like, what is happening? What is going on that I am doing all of these things? People from the outside see me and they're like, Nilzara is like this woman of God, God-fearing woman. She's a great example. She's all of this, but inside I'm dying. I am totally disconnected from myself. I have no control over my emotions. I am constantly connecting with men who are unavailable and who are willing to look the part, right? I mean, I waited to have sex till I was married with both of them. So
Yeah.
it's not, I had my rules and regulations, right? But like, it just was not, I was just like, how, if I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to do, why is this shit still happening?
Yeah.
Why am I getting myself into these relationships and these marriages where I'm still having to be the mom to these grown ass men? Like, what is going on? And so after my second marriage, I actually watched Moana for the first time and I bawled with that
Yeah.
movie. I cried and I was like, "Oh my god, I need my heart back." The stone, I was like the island, and I totally felt like God was like,
I'm getting
"It's
chills
time.
because that
It is
happened to
time
me
to leave."
also.
Did it? Yes, that movie is so powerful for me
Mm-hmm.
because when I saw that happen, I mean, I cried and I text my husband. I text him from my mom's house because that's where I was at when I watched it, and I said I'm not coming home.
Mm.
And that was the end of that. And I lived in Nevada where you can literally like fill out paperwork, take it to the court, and within 24 hours, as long as both parties agree, like you're divorced.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it was kind of that scenario where we were both like, I'm like, I'm not coming home. I'm done. And he's like, all right, cool. We filled out paperwork. We had a mutual friend who worked for the court system. She helped us fill out the paperwork. We submitted it Monday, and by Tuesday morning, it was done. So, it was that fast. But I saw that movie and was just like, okay, it's time. And from there, I had to really sit down and see that I was the common denominator in all the craziness in my life. Yes, my dad set me up for some bullshit, 100%. And I'm not taking responsibility for that shit. But what I am taking responsibility is for my healing from the wounds that was created with all of that. And I had to learn how to take responsibility for the actions that I took and the lack of connection that I had with myself. And that's what I had to do. And I didn't experience that until after my second marriage. And after my second marriage is also when I started deconstructing from Christianity. I just didn't feel the same way about things. I just,
Yeah.
I remember I remember God, I feel like God is calling me. I felt like God was calling me, and I'm like, God, I went to a couple churches here and there, and I'm like, I can't do this. I know you're calling me. I know you're there because even though I've left Christianity or not really necessarily connected to it as like I used to, but I just can't.
Yeah.
Like I feel better and happier without that part. And that's confusing to me. And I need more clarity than that. And I asked God, I said, I need you to strip the crap in entirety. And I just see you for what you are. And I need you to bring me people so I can start learning what it really is to be connected to God because this church shit is just not working for me.
Yeah.
And if anything, it's perpetuated the cycle of abuse in my life. It's kept me disconnected and really into my people pleasingness, that I talk about all the time on TikTok. And I can't do that anymore. And so as I started to heal, I saw that I couldn't connect. I want to take that back. I wasn't necessarily aware that as I was healing, I couldn't be Christian at the same time. But I started to see as I was healing, I was more disconnected from those beliefs. So I had like confliction and stuff, but was just kind of like in this place where it's like, okay, God, show me. And so from that point on, God started bringing people in my life that would pull tarot cards for them in the morning and then listen to like Joyce Meyer. And I don't know if you know who Joyce Meyer is, but
Yeah,
she's
a
like,
long time ago.
yeah, like a devout Christian lady that
Yeah.
has a horrific story that has made it really big now. But it was mind blowing to me back in the day that somebody can actually do that. And it was mind blowing to me that the people that God were bringing to me were more Christ like than actual Christians were. I was like,
Wasn't wasn't she the one that had like been abandoned by the haystack or something? She had like a horrible, like a crazy story.
she had a real crazy story. She had sexual relations with her father.
I think my mom and my grandma years and years ago went and saw her live like at a workshop. And I
She,
think they had the discs of like her story. There was or DVDs.
mm-hmm.
He had, yeah, I think I remember her. She impacted me at a really young age because I was like, okay, I knew if I went through everything I went through and my story is wild too, I was like, if she can go through that, I can be okay.
For real. Yes, yes. I loved Joyce back in the day. And I mean,
Yeah.
I still do now. And she's still, I mean,
She
for
serves
what
her
she's
purpose.
doing, yeah, she's a thug right now. And I'm like, okay, because she's old as hell and she's still up on stage doing the thing with the attitude that she's doing it with. Like I have respect for her. She's
She's
amazing.
a women empowerment figure of energy, regardless of like the religious background or anything like that, she absolutely is a warrior for women for sure. And I
Oh,
love that so much.
yes, yes. And I think to piggyback off that certain comment, I do want to say that even though I've deconstructed, like there are very much like I believe that we can be divinely connected to God in
Yeah,
the
of
Christian
course.
church, you
Because
know.
it's
Um,
just the other mess and not so positive internal structures that were created for not for the highest good of humanity that has made it uglier than it originally was intended to be.
for sure, I agree because I knew like I had intense moments with God, and I absolutely had experiences, visions, dreams.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, I had a lot of things with God while I was in the Christian church. So it served a purpose, and it served a great purpose for me because of the wildness that I was a part of when I was younger, the
you
drinking,
needed it.
guys, and all that stuff. I needed that black and white concept
Yeah,
to
you
kind of
did.
rein my ass in and to give me, okay, this is right, this is wrong. But after a while, that stuff, I started to outgrow it. I started
Yeah,
to see that it wasn't working like it said it was supposed to.
right.
Anyways, I started deconstructing from Christianity, and it was confusing and it was hard, and I lost a lot of people on the way. It was my whole identity because we grew up, it's so weird to say, we grew up religious, but we were
Yeah.
the craziest family. It
No,
was
that's a lot of people, honestly. It's not crazy.
Yeah, so wild to think because you mostly think of people like, like the white picket fence and everybody's all this and that and they go to church together. And like I was in and out of church, my dad, my mom, everybody, and we were all just like a hot mess all over the place, overly emotional. Nobody knew how to communicate. We knew how to yell and then
Yeah.
pretend like nothing happened and then just moved on with our day.
Your mom and dad is Puerto Rican?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, loud all the time.
Yeah, all the time, you
Yeah,
know?
there's no
So,
talking in Puerto Rican houses. I know.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm
yes.
pretty sure part of my hearing loss is from my old mother-in-law, so
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No, I'm not even joking, and it's okay. But yeah, no, she has there's no volume button. It's just scream or
Yeah.
whisper because she's trying to gossip about somebody, but usually they hear her anyway
Oh
because
my God,
she's left.
so funny you said. It's like they don't give a shit or they're trying to be like, hey, guess what I heard? And you're
The
like,
wor- the worst thing that she did was in the I'll just say this really quick because it was funny, is in the grocery store. Every single time she would go to the grocery store, if I would take her, even if my ex-husband would be there with me or not, either way, she would always talk about people in Spanish, and she would always say it so loud, and it would always be somebody that can speak Spanish that she didn't realize could speak Spanish. And I'm like, are you ever going to learn your lesson?
mm-hmm,
She's
mm-hmm.
always talking, and I'm like, you literally could have just kept that as an inside thought. You know that, right? And you don't know how to whisper. You're terrible at whispering. Like, just give it in here. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's Puerto
But
Rican.
that's so funny. Yeah. I mean, let me think.
Sorry.
Let me come back. No, that's okay. I'm just thinking of like everything. So anyway, so I um my family, it was crazy because we were religious, but it
Right.
was so unhealthy and so all over the place. And like I said, I still saw these cycles being perpetuated in my life. I didn't understand what's going on, deconstructed. God started bringing people to me. And then I had to learn how to trust my body, which was
Yeah,
so weird and uncomfortable.
but so important.
Yes, because
And your intuition, because you thought your intuition brought you to all those people, and how could you trust your intuition if you ended up in the same situations? It's a whole healing process.
it is like my whole identity was literally ripped from me. And I had to I had to revamp. And I'm going to say this too, because for whatever reason I feel led to, but I also felt like I lost my brownness
Mm,
because I was healing and I was putting boundaries, and people in my family would be like, "You're acting white."
mm.
And
Okay.
I'm like, "What are you talking about?" First of all, I'm not fluent in Spanish, so I'm already not Hispanic enough to the Hispanic community.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me because I'm choosing to heal and not be fucking toxic,
Yeah.
okay? And that I can articulate my thoughts, feelings, and emotions that I'm acting white. So there was not only just like this, like I've lost my identity as a Christian in my form of God and how I connected, but also like literally everything that created an identity for me
Now you're not
was
Puerto Rican enough.
stripped. Yeah. So now I'm not Puerto Rican enough. Now I'm not Christian. I'm just not anything
Mm,
at that point. And I'm like, so that was kind of scary because
yeah.
everything that I knew was being stripped. And that was really hard. And then not only that, people were not talking to me, or they were telling me that they were worried for me, and it was crazy to me because they knew that I was experiencing what I was experiencing with my ex-husbands. They saw the craziness I endured with them. And did any of those people come to me and say, "Hey, I'm worried. Are you okay? This is not right. It's not healthy." But the second that I say that I'm starting to deconstruct, or they see me leave, that's when people were like, "Oh, I'm so worried for you. I'm praying for you." And I'm like, "Bitch, I don't want your prayers." you know,
Yeah.
like like I
Like
am
you
going
saw
to
me for how long and said nothing, and I told you I was struggling. By the time you say you're struggling, for me anyway, and I know it was probably for you, it's already been a long time.
a long time. Yes.
And
Yes.
nobody showed up, but then all of a sudden they show up to give some fake, concern.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it. Trust me, that's why I deleted all my old social media accounts, because the times that I finally reached out, it had been years of suffering. And
Yes.
nobody showed up. But guess who was always there whenever somebody needed a blessing, a healing, a prayer, a whatever?
Mhm. Mhm.
Money, whatever it was. Even though
Mhm.
I was struggling, and
Yes.
and it's like, yeah, of course I'm gonna keep being me. But limiting the access they have to me, because I'm not your piggy bank, I'm not your God. I'm connected to the higher source, which is the God of all things. I'm not your God. You're not going to drain me and then not care about my well-being when I don't have any more to give.
Right.
And I get it. It's
Yeah.
hard, but you had to be isolated just like I did in your own way, because it would be the catalyst to where you are now, but it does not take away from how hard it was.
100%. And I do want to also say, by that time, I was married to my third husband. And I really want to stress the fact that I know us women are coming around, and there's a huge feminine awakening that's happening. But there is also power, okay, in having that relationship with a man that can provide that safe space for a woman to explore all of this.
Absolutely.
So
Healthy masculine energy is so important.
yes, because my current husband was actually like my makeout partner back in the day. We
That's cute.
reconnected,
Aw.
and we both been married 3 times, and we have a wild story. But anyways, um,
Wow.
so when
That's
I
cool.
started deconstructing and all of these things, that I was already with my ex, or with my current husband.
Yeah.
So that's something important too, that I do want to say that um
He was kind of your ex.
he was ish. Yeah, 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 my ex and not, and whatever we were. But
Your
um
first. Your first
not to
love.
say that you should be looking for a man to find comfort to start your healing, okay? Because some people, that's their journey, and some people aren't. But I truly believe I had an issue being single. I didn't know how to, and even when I was single, there was always somebody I was talking to. So like I mean, married 3 times within an 8-year time span,
Yeah.
okay? So like I hopped and I hopped and I really feel that I was that person that like if I didn't have that stability from somebody, I would have never gotten to this place. And God knew that I needed somebody like my husband to provide that for me. And so I very much wish now that I could go back and have me, but single and like enjoy life as singleness because there was so much pressure on me, I think, as a Hispanic and then as a Christian, like, and as a woman,
Yeah.
that our purpose is to be married and have kids, right? That's where our value lays in. And I wish I could go back as the person that I am now and be single for a while and just experience life and just
Yeah.
do the things that I want to do without the pressure of always having to be pretty and act a certain way and do this so I could get a husband, so I could have value, so I can XYZ, you know.
Yeah.
So I there is power in that healthy masculine energy, like you said, that can support that. But also for those of you that can provide that for yourself, you know, like
Yeah. Relish in that.
yes, oh my
Take a
god,
moment, step back, figure out who you are and what you want in life, start to achieve it, then incorporate someone.
yeah, yes. If I could stress on that, like if I could go, I just life would be so different. But I know that this is the route that I had to take
Yeah.
because I, you know, was mortified about being single, and that fear really just pushed me to make some really shitty decisions. And so, if I could stress that to anybody, like if you are single on this journey, you don't need a man for your value to start healing. You don't need any of that. They can be a great asset. Yes.
Your microphone.
However, what was that?
Said, here's your microphone.
Oh, use my microphone.
No,
Oh,
I said, here's your
oh,
microphone.
yes,
Say it
yes.
louder.
Thank you. But like you don't need those things in order to have a life of fulfillment. You just don't.
No.
Like, oh my gosh, there's so much I could say. Even on the whole purity thing and the whole sex thing too. Like, there's so much to say there. But, anyways, um,
Your stage is yours.
yeah. So I'm just trying to, I'm hearing certain things and I'm like, okay, God, sorry. I also
You're
have
good.
ADHD, so I talk in circles. I know you can hold up on my conversation, but I have to think of other people that are like, what is happening?
We can rewind,
So, what was
pause.
that? Oh, yeah. Uh
We can
huh.
rewind,
Absolutely.
pause, take a minute.
But, so I just have been on a long, long, long healing journey. I'm, I want to say that it's been since 2000. I left my ex in 2017, and I think in 2018 is when really everything started happening for me and realizations and stuff like that. And so I have been on this journey on the spiritual path of connecting to God in a whole different way since then.
I just
Yes.
want to say something. 16 and 17 was like a pivotal year for myself, but so many people I've talked to. Massive shift happened in 17.
Yeah.
So
17.
wow.
I feel like people who started shifting in 17 also had a big hit in 2020.
All of everybody, yeah, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody had a hit in 2020. And then I also hear a lot of people also got really sick, like autoimmune and all that stuff once
Mm,
they started hitting their spiritual journey. And that's because like their bodies are finally like, she's listening. And
yeah.
we can
Yeah.
like show all the things. Like there's a lot of things. Yeah. So 17 was big and then 2020 hit. And I feel that was big. And for me, I've heard a lot of people say that in that time frame, they were also diagnosed with like big diagnosis, like medical issues. And that also catapulted their healing and stuff like that too. So
Mm,
it is
okay.
pretty wild. Yeah. I think that I think those of us who have similar callings will experience the same certain things in timelines that,
It's soul groups.
yeah,
Those we're from a higher soul. A lot of us are from a higher soul group, a collective soul group that we came in together for similar missions, and I noticed that a lot of us who are connected have similar things. So it's really interesting. Similar timelines, similar events, similar times for those events. It's
Hmm.
really interesting, the alignment. I didn't mean to take you off of what you were saying. I just had to say that because it was
No, that's
so
okay.
loud. I was like, God, it's crazy. So many people.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Um,
You were saying in 2017 that you separated from your ex-husband, and then from there, I don't know what you were going to say.
yeah. So I separated, and then in 2018, I reconnected with my current husband,
Okay.
and I went and visit him in Virginia, and we got married on a whim because that's just, you know, how things go. But at this time, I'm already starting to deconstruct because like we messed around outside of marriage, and I was like, oh, I don't feel guilty. Weird. What is this? So just weird little things were happening. But I remember when coming to the light language stuff, I remember speaking in tongues and me being like, God, what is this? I know it's not mine. I know it's not me. Like, do I keep this? Do I say that I still have this gift? Like, what the hell do I do with this? And I went to an online event, a New Earth Ascension event.
Oh,
And
okay.
this girl, what was that?
I said, oh, okay. Yeah, the New
Oh, okay.
Earth Ascension.
Sorry, I thought you said hold on.
No,
But
no, no. I was just moving my hip.
okay. And this girl, that had different speakers, and this girl started speaking. She was talking about how her son was really sick and had passed.
Oh,
And
wow.
trying to get my and she was able to talk to her son, and then she said, I'm going to do some light language. And I was like, light language? And so she started speaking in light language, and it sounded like my tongues, but she was also doing like really fast hand gestures, like throwing up gang signs. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? And immediately I'm like writing and I'm like, hey, is this the same as speaking in tongues? Da 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 da. And I started getting feedback that it's the same concept. It's just structured differently because of the belief system behind it.
Yeah.
So as I did research, discovered that speaking in tongues has been documented since ancient times. For those who want to do their own research, it's under ecstatic speech or glossolalia.
Okay.
And um, it is across different cultures, different religions. So there is no doubt that regardless of what you connect to, that there is a capability of having a direct connection, communication form with source.
Yeah.
If you have the genuine heart and belief that you want to connect, then by all means, it has been documented forever. I mean, people can do their own research. I also created a light language activation guide that talks about this. It talks about the terms.
Where is that located?
It is located in my link tree. It's the very first one, or like the link in my bio on TikTok. If you go on
Okay.
there, it's the very first one. It says complimentary light language activation guide.
Okay, I'm gonna have all these linked, so I'll go to your page and make sure it's linked in the YouTube video. And once these get on Spotify, I'll put it on there too.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Um, but it talks about the terminology, and there's also xenolelia, which is also a form of expression, like light language expression, that is also talked about, even like in the Bible, where people are able to talk in a known language and the other person understands it. But the person speaking it, that's not their language. They've never spoken that language before.
Yeah,
So I talk about those different types of terms and those like experiences that happen because they both use different parts of the brain. So when you speak in light language or speak in tongues, glossolalia, static speech, those are using a completely different part of the brain versus when you're actually doing linguistics.
hmm,
So that's why for those of us that do speak in light language, we can have our psychic abilities on. We can have a conversation with source while we're speaking in light language or performing in light language. And so when I started doing the research and discovering all of this, I was like, oh my gosh, light language or speaking in tongues, whatever term you want to use, is so powerful. But there are religions out there that have it very restricted. And I think it's
Yes.
for a purpose, right? Like in Christianity, really honestly, it was just used as a form of worship. And then if we laid hands every once in a while, we can use light language, or if the casting out a demon, we would use, speaking in tongues, light language, right? But it's just so much more powerful than that. Like when you utilize light language, which can be used in three forms. So the one I usually talk about is vocal, but it's also physical and in script. So
And the sorry, oh go. Oh, you finish. You finish, and then I'll add something. Continue.
so when you set your intention and you do your light language creates light codes that change your energetic field to support what your intention is.
Right.
It is your soul's direct communication with source, and everybody has. If you have a soul, you have you have connection to light. You have access to light language. It's not like an attunement. Certain gifts you need, like an attunement. Like if you go to a Reiki class to get certified, they're going to give you an attunement for Reiki. That's
Right.
like giving you an antenna to be connected to that frequency or to that healing. But this is something that we come with. This is something that's already within us, that is about it's not it's about activating, but it's more so about remembering versus like, oh, I need an attunement. No, you just need to claim it.
And opening the channel from your your crown chakra to your direct connection, like a tube, into source energy directly, and then also working to dissolve the mental, emotional, spiritual, physical blocks that you may have, to bring those codes down, and that language and energy essentially is all it really is, but transmissions of energy which transforms into language. It's hard to put it into human words. I'm trying to
Hmm.
translate as it comes in, but anyway, the hand movement, for people wanting to understand that portion, is all because we usually channel through our hands when we do healing.
Hmm.
And so the hand movements are light codes, but we're so, for example, when I speak light language and I use my hands, usually it'll come through like I'll do all kinds of things, but it's just my soul is bringing it through.
Hmm.
So we're forming these masses of energy into something that is being utilized for whatever it is, whether it's healing, clearing, restructuring, whatever. And then the script, I was going to let you elaborate on that. I've done that also for many, many years, and I love being able to watch other people do light language script because it makes my soul happy.
Yeah, yeah. So script is a form of light language where it typically shows up in like, I would say like scribbling. Most people do like doodles and scribbles or like geometric shapes, patterns, those types of things. But they actually are,
I don't know if
ooh,
you can see it on here. It's not really clear, but there's
yeah,
light language all over my arm right here around my
I
chakras.
love that. Yes, yes. So I actually love script light language, and I actually have a little doodle here. I
Oh, I
do it
love
on my
it.
whiteboard. But because
Yeah.
you get to write the intention and say, this light language is specifically to help me get past my anxiety, or I want to find the root cause of my anxiety. And you set that intention and you allow yourself to have that expression. And then you have the codes in front of you. You can pray
Right.
over them, lay them on your chest as you meditate. You can put them down. You could come back to them. I love script is so powerful. And with
This one
sound, you
is
can
too.
record as well. You can record as well, and movement too, right? You can always record and come back to those things. But there's something about script that just allows things to flow, and that you have the actual like pattern in front of you that is just really powerful. And so if you come from a Christian background or any type of religious background where there's prophetic dance or prophetic art, speaking in tongues, that's all what this is in light language on the spiritual aspect of things. And it's not confined by like needing a translator or it just being for certain healing modalities or prayer and worship. With light language on the spiritual aspect of things, it is literally for your edification. It is for you, whatever it is that you need, you can use it, right? There's no, it's like your heart's love language. So there's no worrying if my heart is not, or my light language is going to set me up for something wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's none of that, except we are channeling when we are doing light language. So you always want to be grounded, protected, and those types of things. But for the most part, your heart is divinely connected. You know, your soul is divinely connected to source. And so it knows what it needs in order to change your energy or your physical or your DNA in order to achieve whatever that intention is. So if you are like the example I used earlier, if you're wanting to learn how to work through your anxiety, you do your light language, you set the intention, you do the light language, and then know that that light language is changing your energetic field to either move through the anxiety, to show you where the anxiety is rooted, to show you if it's generational. I mean, it is a beautiful thing. I just don't want people to think that it's something that's instant
Yeah.
because we're not here to spiritually bypass. If we're here on this earth, we're in human form, and the only way to learn is through the human experience. So our light language is going to support that. If it's like, okay, she wants to work through her anxiety, that means we're going to have to bring this memory up, and she's going to have to work through those emotions. So then that way she can allow that to work through her body and release that anxiety. So I just want to preface, like, if you're not ready to work through your shit, don't fuck with light language.
I'm going to second that and times it by 10 million
Yeah.
because since I went on that journey many, many years ago and previous to that, the amount of soul wrenching heart, spirit, mind, body, oh my God, why is this still happening? How am I going through yet another shift and healing and crisis and trauma bond healing wound and all these things?
Yes,
Oh
yes,
my
yes.
God. Like, please take it easy on your path to trying to find the root cause of all these things and figure these things out. I want to ask you because I know what I do and I know what I've always done and how it's evolved over the years, but I want you to give people when you say what you do. So when you say set the intention before you do light language or healing, what does that look like for you? That way people can understand what you mean by that, because there might be people who don't know.
Sure, sure. So before I get into that, I do want to preface that you don't have to set an intention to use your light language every time. So it's really important, especially like for those who are beginning. You know, setting intention is like setting that antenna. It's setting up the tuning forks so then that way you get a very specific feedback, right? But you don't always need to set an intention to act to connect to your light language. Like for me, my light language is second nature. It's like I can tap in, I can tap out, I can use it, I cannot use it. It is like right there. And sometimes I can just be going on about my day and I feel my heart, it's going, right? So I
Yeah.
just want to say that there's not always an intention that is needed to use it, but when we use it with the intention, giving clear direction on what we're wanting from the light language is going to amplify what our what our request is. So setting the intention of the anxiety thing or setting the intention of working through the fear that I have to come on TikTok. And I give that example because it's that you can use it for anything. And if you're noticing there's a fear coming up when you go on TikTok, but you know you're supposed to be on TikTok to share the message, right? But there's a
Mm-hmm.
fear coming up. You can say, I want to work through this fear that is coming up. Then you tap into your light language, whether that's script, whether that's movement or vocal, and know that whatever is coming out at that moment is in support of you being able to work through that fear of being on TikTok. So sometimes you're going to experience emotional release. Sometimes you're going to feel energized. Sometimes you're going to feel or have like a deeper knowing or understanding. And sometimes there's not going to really be much going on. And you're going to be like, okay, but on an energetic field, like on an energetic level, things are shifting that sometimes we have to have shift first before we can start seeing in the literal differently. So out here, it's being worked on. And then as those things shift or be removed or supported, then we can start making that shift to understand what that fear is coming from. So, did that
Yeah.
help?
Yeah, that's really well said. And I just want to add, so when I first was trained in Reiki years and years ago, um, trying to think how many years ago that was. My oldest son is about to be 20, and I think he was maybe like 8 or somewhere. I think he was in kindergarten. So, how old was that? 5 or 6. Um, so time is so weird. Um, all the shifts that I've gone through, I'm like, I don't even know what year it is most of the time. No. Okay, so anyway, so the first thing that really taught me about setting intention with my healing work, my bracelet got stuck in my gold thing here, is my very first teacher. Pretty sure she's still out there. Pat Cougar, shout out to Pat. She's absolutely awesome. I was sitting down one day and I heard you have to learn Reiki. And I didn't even know consciously in this life what that was. I
Mm-hmm,
just
mm-hmm.
heard you have to learn Reiki. And this is before, like, I was already in tune. I was already, doing certain things. But this was like natural for me. It wasn't like I actively was seeking out, like, what is all this stuff? It was just like part of my gifts, that I was just born with. To me, it was normal. To other people, I thought I was going to be perceived as weird. So I didn't talk about it a lot. It was kind of like a
Sure.
secret. Um, but when I met Pat, she taught us like the whole protocol. And it was like, the traditional Usui method of like, you wash your hands, and when you wash your hands before your session, whether it's on you or your students, you allow for pure chi source energy to flow through the top of your crown into your heart, through down to your roots, up through your shoulders and out your hands. And this is your intention in this moment is I am calling on the most purest high divine light of the most high source energy of the universe, and only this energy may pass through my body, my vessel, my
Yes.
energy field, for the highest good of me and the person that this healing is flowing through me for. And so that was like the initial, like, okay, now I understand that there's a process, and I'm learning, like, this is how we set the tone and the intention for the permissions of energy that comes through. Did that always work every single time? Yes, during the healing, not always in every moment outside of healings. Because once my channel blasted open, I didn't know who I was yet. So tapped into like all these different places in the multiverse and places on this planet alone and past lives and all the things blasted open. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden, I've got people coming to me from all different places and walks of life. And I've got beings coming through channeling, and I'm writing and I'm journaling and I'm dreaming and I'm meditating. And I'm like, what is that? And so many things were happening. And I have all these people telling me, like, this is who you are and this is what you are and this is what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm just like, I'm just a mom. Like, I'm just trying to figure it all out.
Just here.
Like, I'm just trying to like get through my toxic marriage, dude. I don't know what you want me to do. Whoops. Um, so no, but it's it's so real, that statement. Um, so yeah, it was just like really, really, really intense energies that would flow through me. So when I started speaking light language was when I was pregnant with my daughter, who's 10, and she okay started okay this all happened during my pregnancy with Serenity. I received the rights to the Moonai Key, which is a 40,000 plus year lineage of the shamans of the Andes and the Amazon mountains. I
Wow.
received them from Brandy Cole. She was a direct rights receiver from a shaman in the Andes mountains. She gave me the rights. The elders came to her during the rites initiation and said, she's already received the rights. She doesn't need to receive them again. This already happened in a different lifetime. They don't go away. She said, okay, well, do you want to still continue? I said, yes. She got through all the rights transmissions and everything, but she was like, you don't need all this. What we need to do is get you attuned to like your higher self, because you have a bigger role here and you need to know like what's going on. Because I was just like trying to focus on the smaller, just my kids, the marriage at the time, whatever. And everybody coming at me was like, no, 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 you have like all these things that you're going to be doing and you need to be prepared. I was not prepared at all. I was not prepared. And I tried to be, still wasn't. So everything like knocked me, not everything, so many things knocked me to my knees. So many things pushed me down into the literal dirt on the ground and kicked me while I was down. And I had no idea what to do other than just keep praying, just keep trusting, just keep knowing that I'm going to find my way. And when I tell people my awakening to who I am and what I'm here to do and all that, all the work that I'm meant to be doing and the shifting and the healing and the processing and the transmuting and coming into my alchemist self and all the things that I do, and the master level upon master level upon master level of like layers of initiation of like, hey, this is who you are, but actually this and this and this, because you're multidimensional and like you need to get it together because you got a lot of stuff you're doing, was like boot camp heavy. It was just boot camp. Like how you see in the movies when they're like crawling through the mud and it's dark and it's raining, and you're like, I just need somebody to take my hand, and the sergeant just kicks your face right into the mud and it's like, figure it the fuck out. I'm not picking you up, bitch. Like that was my reality of like, oh, you're gonna cry? Too
Yeah.
bad.
And I think that's true for a lot of us that are actually doing the work.
Oh yeah.
And I, get shit for being the person that's like, we're not the same. There's people out there who are in the spiritual world that really like the aesthetics and really just like being a part of something, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not putting in the work. And they're, you know,
Surface
because
level.
when those of us talk about like the shit that we've been through to get here, they're like, no,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta think this. And I'm like, bitch, please. Like, you don't know, and I know that.
And it's okay to be annoyed by that.
It is okay to be annoyed
We
that
have
by that. And it's
permission.
okay to have like, because people will make you try to make you feel some type of way about being annoyed about it. Like I have a
That's
right to
okay.
feel about how I feel, and it's okay to call things out as though they are. Like we live in a world where there are people out there who are teaching just love and light, and then there's those of us, and I'm not tooting our horns, but shit, like we've been through enough to be able to say like,
Beep beep.
hey, like that shit seems like bullshit, like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
You know,
I
you know
yeah.
exactly what you went through. You know exactly what it took to get here, and you know that it was hard. And the moments where, and I know that there were many because there were many for me, where it felt like I don't honestly know how I'm gonna keep doing this because
Mhm.
I need it to get better. And having so many of those moments where you realize like you're laying on the floor again and no one's gonna pick you up but you and the Most High. Like that's it.
Yeah.
You have guides, you have angels, you have everybody, and I'm infinitely grateful for all of them. But it was me and my daughter. I'm gonna give her credit because that girl is everything.
Mhm.
Um my sons in their way that they could and were able to help me, them and me. That was it. That was who picked me back up. And I'm telling you, like, my daughter has saved my life
Mm.
on so many occasions. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say that from a divine authority standpoint, yes, it is okay to be annoyed by people who think that they have this deeper understanding of what it really takes to be going through God level shit. It's not for the weak, and the strong barely survive it. So,
Yeah, for
people
sure.
people who are like wanting to be like this divine being, it's like, dude, do it. Go for it. But I'm just going to let you know like it's not going to fucking be easy. Like it's not at
Yeah.
all.
And there's a difference between, like beginners, and then there's a difference between the people who are just doing their own thing and saying their own thing and just not doing what they need to be doing to be saying what they're saying, if that makes sense. Like,
It
you know,
does. I hear what you're saying.
yeah, there's also that difference too, because we all start somewhere, but there are people out there who are spiritual bypassers and they use this as a form of like,
It's cute to be
yeah,
spiritual.
and to get followers, and they do tarots, and then all of a sudden it's crazy to me how when I scroll through TikTok, okay, I know I'm getting off topic. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine. You're fine.
No, but I felt it in me. And
Just
I'm
say
like,
what you need to say. It's
but
only
like
to come
scrolling
up.
in TikTok and then all of a sudden the messages are all the same. And it's like, is this divine, or is it just people are seeing that these are getting views? And so this is the verbiage that people are going to start using to do all this. So one of the biggest things in my light language guide is the number one thing is understanding who your form of source is, because it's going to help with this discernment that we're talking about. We understand, understanding who your form of source is, what you're connected to, because that ultimately that's your protection. That's what you're drawing from. That is going to be the biggest help of all the things. When
Right.
we are in a time where we are saturated with information, and not all information is wrong, not all information is right, and not all information is for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to be in a place where we can discern what is for us and what is not for us, and
Right.
understand that not everybody's walk of life is going to look the same, or spirituality. Like, I love astrology, but I don't study it. Like, if
Yeah.
somebody comes across my page and says, "Oh, this about Capricorns or whatever," I'm like, "Cool, like awesome, I'll take it." Or talks about the moon or whatever. I don't do tarot cards. Not that I mean, my best friend does tarot cards. I get readings all the time, but it doesn't mean just because you're spiritual, you don't have to be in all of it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I have my area, I do oracle cards. I just now started using crystals. Like, you just have to be able to have that discernment, understanding who your form of source is, right? Because you're a unique expression of that source. So it's like you get to know source, you get to know you, you get to know you, you get to know source. And in that, you start to learn your body and your body's intuition. Into you, intuition. You want to start moving in your gifts, you start learning your intuition, because you came here in human form for a reason. And the only way to have this experience is through your human form. And if you want to understand God, it's through your human experience, your emotions, what your body is telling you, and all of that. So, stressing that fact as well, to be able to discern from those who are on social media platforms just blowing smoke up your ass. And that's not just with spirituality. I mean, it shows up in Christianity, it shows up in your workplace, it shows up at school, it shows up everywhere. You're going to always have that douchebag that's taking advantage of whatever scenario for their upper hand. And so it's important that
Right.
you have that relationship with yourself to be able to be like, that's not for me. And
Discernment.
understanding that just because it's not for you doesn't always mean it's bad, even though it might be for other people. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's having that discernment to be able to, and I really want to stop myself right there and rewind. Discernment is extremely important, and a lot of times we hear the word and we understand, like, okay, I got a grasp mentally of like what discernment means. But for people that really need to deepen their understanding of what discernment is you have to be able to slow down. You have to listen to your body. You have to listen to your inner world of what does your spirit say, what does your energy field say, what does your body say.
mhm,
If you have something come up inside of you while you're listening to someone and you feel like it's not right or correct or true, then that's where you have to sit with that feeling and listen within yourself and ask yourself questions. Because as you're learning discernment, you have to refine, am I feeling this about this person because I have a pre-programmed belief inside of myself that I just don't trust people and I don't really listen to a lot of things people say because I think most people are full of shit? Or am I feeling this because my soul is actually telling me this is not for me?
right,
So sitting with that feeling and asking yourself, is this also, there's a third part, is this something I don't want to hear because I'm not ready to hear that and face that yet?
right,
So there's like different parts to learning true discernment, and the only way to master over your own level of discernment with anything and everything, whether that's, should I take this job? Is this person telling me the truth? Is this energy that this person is giving as healing for me? Is this message I'm hearing actually a message from my higher self telling me something? Or is it just a thought that I'm having, or a fear that I'm feeling, or a paranoia? Discernment is a really big, like, mesh of different things that you have to work on mastering. So yes, discernment can be really simple. Once you master it, you are just, yes, I got a yes, that's a yes, because you know already how to navigate all of the questions within yourself before you even come up with your conclusion on if you're going to accept whatever that is as an absolute yes or an absolute no. But if you're
mhm,
in the in between and you're unsure, that is when you really have to sit with yourself. You can journal, you can meditate, whatever you got to do. But really practicing discernment is so important for people who practice spiritual anything. And
anything, anything, anything. That is very, it's like foundational for sure.
yes,
There are things too that can help with that, like muscle testing, the sway technique. And if you're into pendulums, pendulums can also help you understand your yeses and nos to
muscle
kind of work
testing is
through that.
awesome.
Yes. And to be able to like I had to first start with my pendulum and then I started doing the sway technique and stuff like that. And now it's like I know my yes and my no. I just answer a question and then I can hear it or feel it. And then if I
Did you
need
ever
like
do this one?
validation, then I do like my stuff. But
Did you
yeah,
ever
so
do the
there's
muscle testing this one? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I actually have a hard time with the muscle testing, so I do the body sway technique or the hand sway technique.
Those are good.
Yeah.
I want to let you finish what you were saying so that you remember it, and I want to tell you one other thing on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all. I think that's it was the biggest thing with if you want to be in a place where you are truly working in your spiritual, like being active in your spiritual walk, the number one thing is like having that relationship with yourself because that's where that discernment is going to come, in so it's like relationship with self and relationship with God, right? They're two of the same. And so having that, if you want to build your intuition, your discernment, your spiritual gifts, all of that should be foundational to have this experience. Because there's so many people out there that are like, oh, I did a third eye meditation to open it up and they feel crazy now. And I'm like, well, who, what did you do for protection? Who did you call on to protect you, to guide you through that? Like, what did you ground yourself? Like, what did you do here? And they're like, well, I
Yeah,
don't know, and it's like, okay, so not that everything happens for a reason and everything like that, but there are things that we can do that can really help this journey be a little bit softer
yeah,
than what, happens anyways.
absolutely. No, I totally agree with you. And there is, I'm going to get back to the two things I was going to say in a moment, but there is something to be said about also real, like understanding on a deeper level that, so it's like, because I come from all these different backgrounds in my souls, like I have my shamanic self and my Thai self and my Japanese self, and it's like my native self, all these different aspects of myself, right? So I see it from like multiple different levels. But
Mhm.
so there's something to be said about like respecting the dharma of a person's journey and them not knowing what steps would be good to take in order to have done those things better. Because I definitely remember like doing certain things because I was desperate and I was like, I just got to find something, where
Mhm.
I totally went through like third eye openings, and yeah, it was meant for me. But at the same time, if somebody else would have went through that same experience, um, probably would have been a lot different and could have been like potentially inducive of a spiritual psychosis. I mean, there's just so many different things that can happen. So I try to respect I try to respect the process of people, but then there's like that other part of us, and we are, in a physical body, and we do have like all the emotions that come along with the human
Yes.
experience. And so it's like, yeah, we're going to judge sometimes. Yeah, we're going to feel these things because that's just part of this experience. And it's okay. It is okay. Um, I want to also get back to two things just because I feel led to say a couple of things that are important. I'm going to say the initial one after I say the second thing. It's really important for me to let people know that um, when we approach those of us who've had a more difficult journey because our soul has um, a bigger reaching role in this lifetime of having to step into all these different understandings and who we are in our soul and what we're here for and how to utilize our experiences to help heal the world, right? Help heal people, help people learn to heal themselves, etc. It it does something to you internally that you do develop a deep level of honor and appreciation and respect for the journey and the process that it takes to get through the very, very difficult, arduous, painful journey that it seems to be for a lot of us, not all, but a lot of us older souls, to get to form our physical selves into an extension of our higher self, to whip it into shape, essentially, to develop self-mastery, to become disciplined, to develop this energetic shift that it takes to be all of ourselves. So when we see other people and they're not on that level, but they are trying to make it seem as though they are something that they're not inherently, it does feel like an annoyance, because to us, because we know intimately how hard it was, how difficult, how painful, how deeply emotional the journey was to get to the point that we're at now. So it's like, okay, I just got a message from my higher self, and this is like the funniest thing. It's like we're in the temple, right? On the top of all, you climb, like you have to climb like 1,000 stairs to get to us up here in the temple. I've always said, like, I'm like the old man in the temple on the top of the mountain, okay? It's like we're in the temple, okay? And and someone's walking up the stairs to come get to us because they need divine guidance. They're like totally at a loss. They're finally at the end of the road of like, I need help, and there's only one soul I can go to I know they're going to give me the right guidance. And then you got like Sarah down here with her little farmer's market tent, and it's halfway up the stairs. And it would be really convenient if Sarah could provide everything that the person needs, because God forbid, they have to walk up the rest of the 1,000 stairs to get to us up here. Sarah might be able to help. Sarah's saying she's a guru and a sage and an oracle and all the things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Sarah can help. Maybe Sarah can help you, but and that's might be where you're at in your journey. It's not to say that the people that work on a more surface level don't help, because they help the people that are on a surface level, and that serves its purpose. But for those of us who are in a deeper, more powerful level of shift, change, affecting real deeper shifting within your soul, your spirit, your body, your mind, getting into the core root level of what's going on with you, helping teach you how to do what it is that we do, but on your own level, and make your life genuinely go in the right direction and get you activated, all the things that we do. It's an insult for, I don't have anything against the name Sarah, but it's an insult to our soul for the Sarahs and the Michaels. I mean, not the Michaels. The false gurus, to say that they are doing more than what they actually do. And so this is just to clarify. It's not shit talking. It's not trying to talk down on anybody. It's just for people who want to take offense to the things that were said in this podcast. Really hear me out and understand. If you went through the deep level of boot camp life that we went through, and you had to come out the other side of that and then go through that like 10, 15 more times, your spirit gets tired. And you can, and it's just like you see people that are trying to say that they are something that you are, and that they've done the work that you have done. Yeah, it's gonna be annoying.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna feel irritating. It's frustrating. And then you see these people getting paid all this money, and here we are, not even asking for anything, but I'm like,
It's a whole
do
thing.
you not see me here? Like,
Yeah, it's a lot to work through.
Yes. So, and it's been a long, long, several year journey with that. But I just, finally wanted to take a moment to really explain that because I haven't fully explained that before. And yeah, like that needs to be understood. And I wanted to say that for myself, for you, and for everybody else out there that are our brothers and sisters of the light that literally have been busting their ass in the dark, like going through the journey and haven't really like shared that about themselves, who need to feel validated because like we've been doing this for a long time and it's just now that any of us are there, you know?
Hmm.
And so yeah, like it needs to be said. Um One more thing on the discernment piece. There's an exercise that I use. I do different things, but when I really needed to get solid on yes or no, I really feel like this will help a lot of people and this might help you. Um, I closed my eyes and I ask my soul, my higher self. I say, I need I need there to be a line drawn, and this line in the middle is a neutral. And this side is a box, and this box is yes. And it's lit up neon sign, gold light, yes. This is neutral. This side is no. There is no in between. There is no maybe. No. This is a no. Clearly, absolutely no. And when I ask a question, I need my higher self, this is what I say. I need my higher self to say yes or no. When it's
Hmm.
like a needs to be a clear cut thing. Otherwise, of course, I channel and I listen. Now I'm able to hear more, of course. But this helped me so much because life is busy. A lot of people are working. A lot of people are driving around. A lot of people have kids. A lot of people are just trying to figure out like how to even hear their own thoughts, let alone their higher self. When you don't have to close your eyes every time, but it
Right.
helps. And you ask your higher self, I need you to give me a yes or no. And you have to ask straightforward yes or no questions. You can't ask a
Yes,
long,
clear.
yeah,
Hmm.
your question cannot be long. It cannot be confusing. It has to be, okay, is it safe for me to go to the store today? Yes. Is this job the right job for me? Yes. Is it for my highest good? Yes. Is this person good for me in my life?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So but that really, really helped me. And I did so many different things before that one. And I just wanted to give that to people because when I started doing that, it really helped me to like just get much more straightforward answers. Because as you know, our minds get really busy and
Yeah.
they're on five different things at one time. So,
Yeah. And it helps just clear the shit. Like, there's like me and my husband were thinking about moving, and we have five top places, and we both did the sway technique. Okay, which one are we doing? So there's no bullshit. We're, oh well, maybe this. No, we get to ask. We get to ask. We are powerful enough that we get to ask ourselves what those answers are, and we can be in a place like where we can understand our yeses and our nos, and it's going to cut so much like confusion and all of that stuff out because we can get that yes and that no, which
right.
is going to alleviate so many things for us, especially that are overthinkers and we wonder about this and we wonder about that. If we can just learn to trust our body and the visions that you get or the sway technique, the muscle technique, we can learn to trust those things. It is going to make life so much easier,
Yes,
so much
absolutely.
easier. So like we were able to ask, hey, this location, da, 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 da. We got this, and now we have like our top two or three locations, I can't remember, and now we get to do research based off of that, and it's cut out so many things. And so it's not just learning how to do these things for the spiritual things, right? The asking those deep metaphysical questions or whatever. It's like, does this supplement work for my body? Yes or
Yes,
no? Should I
right.
eat today? yes or no. Like
Yeah.
you said, should I go to the store today? Like, yes or no. Like, it will help with everything.
Yes, and it'll also refine your discernment as you go along to help you really learn what that feeling feels like every time you get a yes, and what that
Mhm.
feeling feels like every time you get a no. And eventually, you're so tapped into the energy of it that as soon as you ask, before you even see or feel the muscle testing happen or the yes or no thing happen, you're literally like, oh, okay, yeah, it's no.
Mhm. Yeah.
So before we close out today, I wanted to ask you. Well, I'm being guided to ask you. Um, do you want to give a light language departure of this podcast energy and a transmission of what you want to leave for people to help activate them into their journey with light language? And then if I feel called, I'll join in. But I wanted to ask you if that's something that you feel led to do.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
open to
cool.
that. Sure.
Okay, so when you're ready, I'll let you.
So I want to set the intention that this light language, like you said, is closing out, but to not activate, but to like open up.
Yes,
Anybody that is curious, or maybe you're not curious, you don't know what the hell we're talking about, but to be open up to it, to for it to really just be profound, to have an experience. Um, and that it awakens, right? There's a remembering of what that light language is and how it serves and what it serves, what purpose it serves for you.
that's beautiful.
Um, and that the power behind it, right? Knowing that you are a unique expression of source. So anybody that has any questions or any doubts that they are divine or chosen, like you are divine and you are chosen. The only thing is that you have to believe that you're divine and that you choose yourself. Like you're chosen because you choose yourself. Now, are there people out there that have specific duties and specific like little callings and stuff? Sure, but to be chosen, if you're fucking here, you're chosen. You're doing, you just got to choose that path. So anyways, so that's the intention, is for this to kind of like activate, awaken. So I'm gonna just kind of reground myself really
You're
quick,
good.
reconnect, cleanse, and those types of things.
Yep,
Excuse me.
you're all good.
So for those that may not know grounding or clearing or protecting, I ground myself to the deepest parts of Mother Earth, Mother Earth, and then I connect to the highest parts of Heavenly Father. I believe God is both of masculine and feminine. Suakanasiya. And then that energy between the two cleanses me from the inside out. It releases any energy that is not mine or any excess energy. It cleans my aura, cleans my aura. Shuyakanai. Anything that any entities trying to connect or that have connected, anything that is just not of me is being cleansed from the inside out. And my aura is being cleansed from the inside out as well. Shua. And then protection is beyond my auric field. So it is from above and below, and it's past my auric field. And then I mirror up as well. So anything that tries to come, it's just going to be pushed back out.
It's very good.
So once I feel that connection, then I feel good to do this is for any type of energy work. But so message first, it sounds like. So there are those of you who are very strong in your spiritual gifts and you're functioning in your spiritual gifts. However, they were nurtured in trauma They were activated and nurtured by trauma. Shuakana si tiki horia kandarabaya kana shia kanasai. So your life is more exhausting because you are open to things. Surya kanashitiki sitikirya. You feel deeply, you understand deeply, and you know things that other people don't know. Surya kandarabaya kana sotoriya kandarabaya kana shitiki sandarabaya kananai. And these could be the very things that are holding you back. Surya kanasitiki hurya kanananai, from experiencing source, from experiencing any other type of gifts at a level that is going to be of benefit to you. Shurya kandarabaya kanasiya kanasoria kanatia kandarabo koshose tiki tiki kandarabaya kanakoa kanai. Shu akanasi akana akana sha. So may there be a foundational piece, an understanding of your authority, an understanding that your gifts are yours and that you have authority in them. And as you activate your light language, shutitiki kandarabaya kana koa kana kia, shisiata kana koria kana kiti kisi tiki kandarabaya kana shitiki sandarabaya kanai, that you come with an authority, a stature of sovereignty, a knowing who you are in God, that you have control over your spiritual gifts. Surya kandarabaya kana shua kana sitiki kandarabaya kana nananai kuwa kana shua kana sitiki kandarabaya kana. Some of you also grew up and always feel like you're fighting. Shuto kundarabaya kanana hiya takasa. Very warrior-like energy, shuakana, but now is the time. Suakana shiakana soto kundarabaya kana. Now is the time to understand that it is learning to fight for and not against. It is you are fighting for yourself. You're learning to be centered and aligned with yourself instead of always fighting against everything. Shuakana siakana iakana sha. So there's a realignment there, and also a realignment of love. Shurya kanari kisi tiki hurya kanararai. A recalibration of love, because some of you are loving from a place of brokenness and thinking that love is something that is outside of you. Shurya kandarabaya kanananai. And we're calling that back. Shuwa kana, love starts from within. Suwa kana shi tiki hurya kandarabaya kana. Sowa kana shi tiki sandarabaya kana. Oshna kirya kandarabaya kako asata kana iya kana sho. O akana shia kandarabaya kana soto ko tentai kanai korya kandarabaya ko. Eshu. Iyasha. E shandarabaya koro konderebaya ka kiya kana soaka. May you have the authority to stand in your gifts. Shua kana siti kihiria kandararai. And may light language be a part of that. Shua kana iya kana sha. Shua kana si kana shu.
Beautiful.
That's what I got. Shurya kana kiya.
Thank you.
Yes, you're so welcome. Thank you for letting me have this experience with you, friend.
Yeah, it's still flowing. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You're very gifted. I'm really truly proud of you. You've really honestly made it out the other side, and some of our sisters and brothers can't say that. So
100%. Yes, I appreciate
you,
you.
yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah, as you are too. We're fucking doing it.
I would have obviously preferred if it was a little bit softer, but I'm grateful for all of it.
For sure. Softer would have been way nice.
It makes me want to cry, but yeah, I'm grateful for all of it because I feel like every time it did get harder again, it was like a swift kick in the ass to put me back on track.
Mm-hmm.
So if I look at it like that, maybe if I stay on track.
I know for me, like with all the shit that I endured, like my trauma really kept me in a place where I don't know that I could have done softer. I don't know that I would have. I mean, shit has to be blazing on fire, like crisp, I mean, be like, I think something's wrong here, you know? What is happening, And so, although I would have loved softer, I don't know that I would have been able to comprehend softer. Now I
Yeah.
can do softer. Now, as things come, I feel more authoritative of like, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah.
I tell God, be like, but before, I don't know. I don't know. It would have been nice if I had the capacity that I do now for it to be softer in the beginning. That would have been so nice, but I really don't know that I could have done softer. And I really think that we were dormant. A lot of us were dormant forever. And then there was like this short time to be like, okay, God was like, green light. And our guides were like, hurry up, kicker, like do all the things. We have a time frame here.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what I signed up for and why it was this rigorous, but like here
Deeply
we
felt.
are, and
Totally
so
get it.
yeah, so I think
Whoops.
that it was necessary for some of the shit for us to really grasp onto, but
And that's why I say I'm truly grateful because man, it was a lot. But
mhm.
it really I can say that it really did help. But I would prefer now for the softer landing on things as I move
Yeah.
forward. For
Well,
anyone
I think
actively seeking services through Nilzara for light language healing, as well as any of her services that she provides, find her on the links for her TikTok. They will be linked on the YouTube video, as well as all other places that this video is posted. If there are any further questions, you may reach out to her via email. I will link her email on this video below.